All right, people against Jennifer Lynn White, 22B142857. Your name, ma'am?
Jennifer Lynn White.
All right, Ms. Crawford, your name again?
Again, Mike Hill Crawford, representing the defendant.
All right, counsel, let's start over. Have you had the opportunity to review the report with your client, and are there any material additions, corrections, or deletions?
I have had the opportunity, Your Honor. The only revision we're asking for is that the court consider a 6-month time period instead of 12.
Ms. White, I need to clarify.
Okay.
You are not denying, correct me, if you are, it's okay. But I want to know, because I know how I do business here. Judges don't take guilty pleas unless they hear words enunciated out of the defendant's mouth that make them guilty of the charged offense or the offense that they're pleading to.
I'm pleading guilty to concealing stolen property.
Yeah, I know.
Because that was in my possession.
Did you know that the property was stolen?
Yes.
Then why'd you tell me you didn't here?
It was a misunderstanding.
Ma'am, who misunderstood what?
I did.
I don't think I misunderstood anything. I think you
misunderstood.
clearly told me you did not steal it and you did not know it was stolen at the time you took possession. Did you tell me that or did you not tell me that?
I did tell you that, but.
Your Honor, if I might assist, if I could. My understanding from talking with my client is that as she listened to you earlier, she thought that you were asking, did she know that the property from the alleged victim here was stolen?
I did ask that.
But
No, I did not know it was stolen.
But the alleged victim, we're not saying that the alleged victim was selling stolen property, are we?
That's
no.
Okay.
Right. See, that's what she understood.
That's what I thought you said. That's why I said.
I want to know, did you know that the property in your possession, this perfume, was stolen from the victim?
Yes, Your Honor.
I don't know how else you could have interpreted that.
I thought that's what you said. I'm sorry.
You thought that I was implying that the victim was in on this scheme?
Asking if
Ms. White.
Oh my God.
Let's move on.
Yes.
Let's move on. I know how I do things. I know I would have never taken a plea because I'm not supposed to take a plea. It's fundamentally unfair for a judge to take a plea if somebody is not guilty of the offense that they're pleading guilty to, or at least the charge that they were originally charged with. So I know I wouldn't have done that. You threw me when you said you didn't steal it and you didn't know it was stolen. You're backtracking, whatever the case may be, misunderstanding or otherwise. Now you're telling me you knew the property was stolen when you had it in your possession. True?
I mean, yes.
Well, if you did not know that the property was stolen, you cannot be convicted of concealing stolen property. If my court officer gives me something and I don't know it's stolen, should I be able to get prosecuted?
Right, that was my thing. I didn't even get to talk to a prosecutor in this case at all. I came in for a pretrial, I met with him,
Mr.
and
Crawford,
I don't
am I missing
understand.
something here?
No, you're not, Your Honor.
Is she denying that she knew that the property was stolen? I still can't figure it out. First
I did not know it was stolen.
May I ask my client a question or two?
Sure.
Ma'am, when you went to the location in question, you went to this location with a friend or an acquaintance of yours, correct?
Correct.
All right. Is it true that you knew that your acquaintance had taken the perfume?
No, I did not know.
And I misunderstood too.
Shocked that I took a plea. If she told me that on the date of the plea.
You wouldn't have.
No, I wouldn't have.
I was pleading guilty to it because it was in my possession.
You
It
have
was
to
in my
know-
apartment.
You have to know that the property is stolen before you can be convicted. Our system's better than that, right? I mean, say
okay.
I go over to a Ford Motor Company lot and somebody's a crook over there and they sell me stolen property. Should I be convicted of stolen property? Concealing stolen property? I don't know. No, I shouldn't. Nobody should. This
Okay.
is the United States. We don't convict people of crimes if they had no knowledge that there was some kind of a criminal activity afoot.
Okay, I understand that, and I apologize.
You don't have to apologize. I think I want to put the brakes on here and figure out how to proceed. I guess I'm gonna allow her. I'd like you to go talk to the prosecutor and we can set this for trial. I can allow her to withdraw her plea. And we can go to either a jury or bench at her request. So I'll let you talk to the prosecutor about it.
Thank
Ma'am, just have a seat and your lawyer will be back with you in a few minutes, okay? All right. Okay. Let's call White, Jennifer White. Jennifer Lynn White, 22B142857.
Good morning, Your Honor. Michael Crawford, represent Mr. White, Mrs. White. I apologize.
Your name, ma'am?
Jennifer Lynn White?
What are we doing on this?
Your Honor, we really appreciate your patience and understanding. My client, again, upon full reconsideration, and going through every aspect of this process as best I could explain it to her, I think she now has a clear understanding of her rights, what her offer was, what she pled to. And I think she still would like to move forward and ask the court to accept his recommendation and is ready to answer any questions the judge might need to ask.
Did you know the property was stolen when you took possession of it?
Yes, Your Honor.
Why'd you tell me? Why are we doing this? Wait a
It's
minute.
like a
Wait. Turn around. Don't talk to your friends now.
I'm
You
not
want to
done. I
talk
was
to your,
looking at the time, sorry.
what's wrong with the time?
I was just seeing what time it was.
You're taking this that seriously. All of a sudden you're worried about the time.
My apologies, Your Honor.
Is what?
Yes, sir.
We happen to think this is serious.
It is serious.
I'm just telling you, lawyers, judges, we think this is serious business going on in here. You got a good lawyer. I know how I take pleas. 2 times now, at least, you bounce back and forth. Maybe 3. And I want to make sure I understand. Because I don't really have this much difficulty typically comprehending what somebody is telling me.
I understand
Don't
that.
interrupt me.
And, okay.
You told me twice you didn't know the property was stolen at the time that you took possession of it. You told me that at least twice, probably closer to 4 times, if I go back and listen to the first 2 times you were in front of me today. I'm not always clear. I'm not always 100% clear. If I was 100% clear 100% of the time, 0% of the time would somebody ask me to explain. So I will bear the responsibility for that. Now, I don't want anybody to ever come into this building, ever, and plead guilty to something they didn't do. It's too important. It's too important. It's way too important. So I'm going to ask you again. I'm going to make sure I'm making myself clear. This was perfume, correct?
Correct.
at some point, you came into possession in the sense that this perfume was given to you by somebody and put in your hand. True or false?
True.
At the time that somebody gave you this perfume and put it in your hand, at which point you would be in possession of it. Actually, it was within your immediate control, but we don't need to go there. At the time somebody put the perfume in your hand, did you know that that property had been stolen from somebody else?
Yes, Your Honor.
Then why did you tell me 4 times that you didn't?
I'm sorry, it was a
No,
misunderstanding.
it wasn't a misunderstanding.
I'm nervous. I don't.
No, it wasn't a misunderstanding. So now I have to go on and talk to you some more because I need you to understand that this is just how judges think. I'm not going to speak for everybody. I'm going to speak for how I think.
Okay.
When I ask somebody a question, and I would never ask anybody a question unless legally allowed to do so, I don't ever ask anybody ever. In 28 years and 3 months, have I ever asked anybody anything that would cause them to incriminate themselves before there has been a conviction. That is either an adjudication of a jury finding somebody guilty, a judge adjudication finding somebody guilty, or a judge, and I'm talking about myself, accepting the guilty plea from the defendant. At no time have I ever done that. Do you understand what I'm saying?
I understand.
All right. Now, how do I put this? I don't appreciate you dancing around here with me. This was not a misunderstanding. This is what I call cold feet. It reminds me of the husband or bride that's going to the altar and decides that they don't want to go to the altar suddenly. You pled guilty. I don't take guilty pleas unless somebody enunciates facts out of their lips or unless it qualifies for a no contest plea and facts contained in the police report would lead any reasonable person to conclude that the elements of the crime that the defendant is pleading to have been set forth adequately in the report. So when people don't tell me the truth, I don't appreciate it because we're not in a bar.
Okay.
I know people like to tell fish stories. That's fine. Go do it in a bar. This isn't a bar. We're in a courtroom. There's nothing more sacred to our democracy than courtrooms throughout this country. Nothing.
I understand that.
And don't lie to me and don't interrupt me.
Okay.
You're not accepting responsibility for what you did. And that bothers me. You know why that bothers me? Because when people don't accept responsibility for what they did, the overwhelming majority of those are not going to comply with probation. And if they don't comply with probation, guess what has to happen, officer? Nothing I want to do, and certainly nothing that the defendant wants to do.
I understand.
So I'm going to ask you one more time. True or false? When you received the perfume, you knew the perfume was stolen.
True.
Well, I'm glad we wasted all this time. I don't care about my time. I do care about your time, Mr. Crawford, and I do care about the other people in here that have had to wait through this little charade. Turn around here, Ms. White. Don't start looking at your friends.
I'm not.
Well, why are you looking from the side here? Don't be turning your body to the side here. You look at me. This is where your attention should be directed right now. Is there anything else that anybody wants to say?
No, Your Honor.
Anything that you want to say, Ms. White?
I'm sorry for the misunderstanding. I don't want to be disrespectful to your court. That was never my intentions. I would never do that. I take responsibility for what I did, and that's why I'm pleading guilty to concealing stolen property. And I will take probation very serious and get it done and over with and completed.
Good. Then we won't have a problem. 12 months probation. Terms of probation. You cannot leave the state without the consent of the court or violate any law or ordinance. If you change your address, your place of employment, or home telephone number, you must notify probation. You have to report as directed. Restitution, if any, will be handled through civil litigation. Court will note that the victim was notified of the date and time. It was to be here at 9:30 to make a statement if they wanted restitution, did not respond, and did not appear. Therefore, again, restitution will be determined by, if anything, civil litigation. You're not to enter the property address at 24345 Helene. You're not to go back to there in Brownstown, not to go back to there. You're not to have any contact with the victim, Ashley Turner. Write, phone, see, text, email, or communicate with her in any way. I'm not sure where the alcohol provisions are coming in.
That's what I was I was confused myself, Your Honor.
Okay, well, I'm not gonna order it because I don't order it unless it had something to do with this theft offense, and it did not.
And I do see
Hang
a
on.
psychiatrist every month, so I'm under doctor's supervision.
Okay, so I'm not sure why you brought that up. Do you want,
Because the probation office was talking about it was the alcohol or drug crime. It was neither.
I'm not ordering that. I just told you that. I'm not ordering you to abstain from the use of alcohol or drugs. I'm gonna hope you don't use drugs, especially illegal ones.
Absolutely not.
And I want you to attend the Positive Strategies program with 8-week follow-up. And I do want you to, you're starting to accumulate some issues here. I'm going to order that you attend 3 days on the court work program. There's a $35 a day charge for that for a total of $105. That's in lieu of jail. I'm also going to order that you pay fines of, I'll go kind of light on this, but because there's mandatory fees. 50 fines, 50 costs, 75 victims' rights, $50 justice assessment, 2 1/4, screening fee 60 for 285. Probation fees are 240 for 525. 630 is your total with the court work program fees. Expensive bottle of perfume.
I understand. I won't ever
But this
again.
is what happens when you keep committing crimes. You got to stay out of trouble. I mean, you seem like a nice person. I don't know why you're doing this. You have 21 days to appeal, 14 days to apply for a court-appointed lawyer. Would you like to, can you pay all of this today?
No, I cannot.
How much can you pay
I'm
today?
unemployed.
Why aren't you working?
I currently just trying to get back on my 2 feet. From the time this happened last year until now. I just got a house. I'm trying to get settled in there.
Who do you live with now?
I live with my brother, but I just got a house for myself, me and my son. And I'm planning on going back to work.
That's the other thing. You're to obtain and maintain employment and provide proof. I'm gonna let you pay this at the rate of $30 a week. I'm gonna start this beginning on May the 12th.
Can I pay before then if I have the,
Nobody's gonna stop you, but you have to pay at least 30 a week starting May the 12th. If you don't have the money, you come in here on or before the due date. Ms. White, I want to tell you real quick, I don't want to belabor this. These people have been waiting long enough to hear this case. You seem like a nice person, but you're getting yourself in trouble. You don't have a diploma. You don't have a job.
I have a
Wait,
degree.
please don't interrupt me.
Okay, I'm sorry.
You don't have a job, you don't have a diploma, and you gotta stay, you gotta move forward with your life here. And I really want to see you do that for you, not for me. That's all I'm gonna say. Probation will go over the order with you. Again, if you don't have the money, you call the court, we'll go on Zoom. Thank you very much. Madison.